My name is Caitlin Zaloom. I'm a cultural anthropologist and professor of social and cultural analysis at New York University. Welcome to my exp. Finance touches so many aspects of our lives, even things that we don't associate with finance or the financial markets at all. For instance, higher education. In the United States today, families and students pay huge sums in order to get a higher education. The cost of attendance at a state school on average is $25,000 per year. That's $100,000 per student for a 4-year education. At a private institution, it's double that. That means that middle-class families can't afford to send their children to college without using debt and investment tools that are given to them by government and financial industries. They are sucked into finance in order to achieve the most basic goals of middle-class life. Middle-class families were drawn into debt through the kind of vast expansion of loans in higher education. This took place essentially at the same moment that finance was expanding in lots of other dimensions in the world from the 1970s forward. In higher education in the United States, this was mainly from the 1990s forward, but even with more and more acceleration in college costs that middle-class families had to meet since 2000. So the financial economy has been drawing in middle-class families as the cost of college has accelerated all the way from the 1970s forward. This has been matched by a withdrawal of the government funding that has supported state colleges and universities in the United States. And again, this was a trend that's happened in the last kind of 40 years and accelerated since 2000. More people have access to a college education today than ever before. We have to think, though, about what the social landscape of higher education looks like, all of the many differences in what that means. So, for instance, there are community colleges that give associate's degrees, 2-year degrees, which essentially take everyone who applies. They are also the places that have suffered the most cutbacks in funding. They are in the weakest position to actually support the students who go there. At the same time, there's been a rise in for-profit universities in the United States and actually around the world as well. And what that means is that people who would not have had access to higher education before can pay often exorbitant amounts for a dubious quality of education that will not pay off. And these for-profit colleges, for instance, have very low graduation rates. But that is one absolutely enormous sector of the higher education world. Generally, when we think about higher education from inside prestigious universities, like the one that I teach at, we think of 4-year degrees, but that is only one very small part of the education world. So when we think about what higher education can do for mobility, we need to think about all of the different pieces, from community colleges and for-profit institutions all the way up to the flagship schools and prestigious elite nonprofits too. Black families, as we might expect, have more difficulty accessing higher education. They take more loans than white families, in part because they also have less wealth and they have faced discrimination in the labor market. So they simply are coming into higher education with fewer financial resources in their pockets. So of course, they have to borrow more, and then they have more trouble paying back the loans that they have taken. The historical discrimination and present discrimination that Black families face continues through the pursuit of higher education. It's one of the terrible ironies of our current situation. Middle-class families, Black and white and other minoritized communities too, all believe that their children should have an open future, that they should be able to cultivate their talents and choose where they will take them. But the historical discrimination and present discrimination they face means just the opposite.